Haiti Chérie says Haiti is my beloved land. Oh, I never knew that I'd have to leave you to understand just how much I miss the gallant citadel, where days long ago brave men served this country well.
We start. Do you ask question or I just talk?
No, I think you probably already know what you need to say.
Yes, more or less.
Oh, this is difficult. How does it even work?
Maybe we can start by pretending you're not there.
Okay. Wow, yeah. What you say? Okay, go get food. Go eat food, okay? Dinner time. Save food for me, okay? Yeah, I'll show you later, okay? Yeah. Hmm? Okay. Yeah, I took a photo. You should go.
Pour bien dire, nous sommes capables de dire, le terrain à Sapit là, longtemps, c'est pas de consulter. Il était plus boisé. La pluie était tombée facile parce que tu as bois. Quand tu as bois, la pluie toujours aller fraîcheur. Ça rend la pluie tomber facile. Mais quand il y a la pluie pas tomber. Pour quelle raison? Parce que pas de bois, pas de pied bois. Ils ont coupé tout pied bois. Il y a pas quand il y a même bête et par un côté pour pas le soleil, pas même d'eau. Et Bukara ça a été chargé bois. Mais ils ont coupé au fait charbon.
Nous venons là, c'est pas pour jouer, c'est pour bien. Nous ne venons là pour jouer, ni rien. Mais nous venons là pour nous aider pour nous travailler ici. Pour nous aider à planter choukoukou. Nous venons là pour jouer. Papi Turgen était venu parler, c'est moi Hamilton. Hier.
Bon, à ça, Hamilton dit à Massip ensemble avec tout. Il y a des gens qui, tant que junior, next time, ils viennent plein de chaque matin après-midi. Tant que moi-même, Hamilton, Michelet, travaille nous-mêmes. Nous venons pour jouer, non?
Aider à planter chococo, monsieur.
Tant qu'on est quitté du chococo.
Ça dana, il remet moun en pile. Remet moun en pile, ni nous-mêmes tout, nous remet tout. Nous pas la le craser. On nous mettre tête ensemble pour nous arriver. Oh yeah.
Southern Force started in 2003 in India, in Orville, and at that time it was just Yorit, my wife and I. It was meant to be a small community of families that would live together and reforest the 70 acres that were allotted by Orville and make a tropical dry evergreen forest and indigenous forest out of it. But life took us to another direction, totally. And volunteers started coming after 5-6 days that we started the project. The first volunteer came, and from then on more and more volunteers came, to the extent that now we have about 1,000 volunteers a year in Sadhana Forest, India alone. And that's a massive number that is enabling to do great work on the land, but also posing a lot of challenges. So it became much more powerful, but much more complicated than it was supposed to be.
We're here because of this desire to live differently and to live in a community. And it's interesting, I think the image that a lot of people have of a community is this sort of commune lifestyle where there's people playing guitars and you're just kind of hanging out, like eating organic vegetables and stuff. And when I talk to my dad about it, he imagines me just hanging out in this hammock eating papayas all day. I wish that that's what it was. I mean, I don't wish that that's what it was, and that's not what it is. It's giving, you know, and sometimes that giving means giving up your comforts, sort of giving up your convenience in order to sort of put your energy into something more positive.
The intention was to enable us to express our goal in life, the meaning of our lives. And that's why we call the project Sadhana Forest. Sadhana is the focus on the truth, the spiritual path. And it was not meant, and it is still not, after 8 years, it is not a career. It is not an ego trip. It is a way to express our deeper yearns, our deeper meaning. And hopefully others can do the same, and we can all, you know, grow as people while growing the forest and everything around us, and maybe helping some people too on the way.
In some ways, Haiti was the place that gave me my umbilical cord, and as I reach out and I start walking the world, I start connecting to a lot of different people. And coming here to Sadhana is like the ultimate expression of that. Where I find myself connected to people from Australia, connected to people from the US, from Canada, and at the same time having my roots, and recognizing my roots being Haiti. It calls upon you to be more human.
Yeah.
The experience living here, I think.
We have the most diverse crowd that you can imagine coming to Sadhana Forest. This ability to support everybody is very empowering for us. We believe in an integrated society. We believe in a society that people can, through diversity, create something very, very strong. Whenever you have a monoculture in nature, it's very weak. Whenever you have high biodiversity, it's very strong. And the same thing with human societies. They should be very diverse. If you look at a town or a village at midday, anywhere in the world, nobody is at home. Everybody is institutionalized. They may be in a school or a company or a prison or an old people's home or a mental hospital, or they are institutionalized somewhere. And in Sadhana Forest, there are no institutions. Everybody is part of the community. Those that should be in a mental hospital and those that should be maybe in old people's home, like me soon. And everybody is integrated, and this integration creates the force of the society, the force of the project, force of the community.
What is the point? What is the point? This was my first question. Like for 2 days, I was like, okay, reforestation, I get it, but what is the point? And yeah, I was really attracted to this whole thing, but it was still really interesting that it was just a group of people that want to live together and plant trees.
And I think that if more and more people came together in communities, not just to live sustainably, but to make life better for others through healing the earth and regenerating the earth and not just carelessly taking from the earth, that we can really create a new society. And I think Sadhana Forest is part of that new society that a lot of people want to create. I don't think that it's utopian by any means. It's just, it will just be reality soon.
I think that this movement can be successful, but it won't be if it is completely radical as it is, if there's no transition, if there's no middle ground where people can come from. Like, do they have to come from complete urban living and complete Western developed life to acting like so many of the innovations in the last 100 years never happened? I don't think that's real. I don't think that that's real. It will be for many people, but there's got to be a way to marry those. I want to help do that, because I don't want to come live in Haiti and stay in a tent forever.
Tamil people from our local area come to Sadhana Forest and they say, wow, you live exactly like my grandfather. They don't want to live like this. They want to live like they see on TV in a cement house. But they appreciate the fact that we want to live like this, because they know that this will not exist. If nobody supports it, if nobody supports these people that do these works, that make these roofs, all this knowledge will be lost. So by our choices, we're preserving a lot of local knowledge.
Pour moi-même, je pense que Sadhana Forest, c'est justement un Sadhana international qui est rentré dans le pays normalement, qui a gagné une si bonne initiative, une si bonne philosophie, justement, il a gagné pour venir dégager. Mais d'après toute étude que nous faisons, donc justement, nous voyons que Sadhana lui pas réalisé normalement et philosophie qu'elle a gagné.
Moi, par contre, qui ça signifie exactement. Il n'y a pas une signification fixe de Sadhana Forest.
The thing is, I've spent 8 months in sadhana and I still don't really understand what it is that they do. Really. I've had some seasons where I think I get it. I think I'm really into it. And then something else happens where I'm like, wait, what's going on? What is this place? What's it all about?
So the Shokogu program started for Biomimicry Europa by looking at oxalogenous trees which are producing a byproduct of their metabolic pathways, which is carbonates. They put carbonates in the ground as they grow, and these carbonates can come from atmospheric CO2. This was interesting because CO2 in the atmosphere is a problem for global change, of course. It was also interesting because by doing this, they potentially act as fertilizers of the ground. So we thought it's interesting to test the model with farmers, actually in places where it could be promoting food security, to test the model of planting oxalogenous tree and trying to plant food around it. And here we sit in Cascade Pichon, a very remote place on the south part of Haiti, where farmers have asked Sadana Forest to come and help fight erosion's problem. There's lots of slopes here which have been eroded due to slash and burn practice. So there was probably a very lush tropical forest here, and there's only a patch of it left around the cascade which is behind us. So we've come to plant trees, plant vetiver, do bonds and erosion control practices. And of course, we came also with the shokogu. When it grows, we hope around 5 to 7 years old, we'll start giving nuts. And these nuts are very highly nutritious. And they can grind them in flour to do bread, to do soups, to do sauce. Bonsoir. And they can also roast them to do a drink which looks like coffee and taste a bit like chocolate. That's where the name comes from. It's shokogu in Creole. So something like a taste of chocolate.
Qu'est-ce que pichon? Qu'est-ce que pichon? Qu'est-ce que pichon? C'est les pichons de ma fille.
Today, we want to understand your situation. What do you need? What do you want for this area? We'll try to do what we can to support you in this effort. We're people that live on the land, just like you. We understand your problems. We want to create a partnership of people that are working and living on the land. We didn't come here to talk about problems. We all understand, we all see the problems. We came here to talk about practical solutions. The most important thing for me is that we create optimism in this meeting. There are problems, but we can overcome these problems and we can do something together. So tomorrow morning we start together and we start a new future.
So we hope that this tree will do a big difference for these farmers, and it has already been doing a big difference in terms of interest. We came with 450 trees, and they all went like mad. I mean, all the farmers want these trees on their plot. So we have been planting a few of them, 200, and distributing the rest. And the farmer took them to their own garden to plant them and hopefully fight erosion, fight deforestation, and also get some food. For my program, I choose Sadana as one of the field partners. The main thing is the way Sadana goes into the social tissue around. And an organization which is staying there and which is coming to stay makes a huge difference for me. Sadana is not coming to do a project, has no objectives in terms of time, like we have to achieve this in 6 months, in 1 year, or in 18 months. Project duration usually are ranging between 2 to 3 years, sometimes 5, and this is mainly ridiculous in countries where things are so disrupted that everything takes a lot more time, and everything needs to take a lot more time also to be accepted by the population. So the sheer confidence of saying we are there to stay makes a huge difference in the mind of people which are seeing you coming. And also the fact of being in very remote places of Haiti where not much other NGO go, and also where all the problems related to a massive presence of NGOs and of foreigners arise have not arisen yet. So there's a way to do work in places so remote where you don't have to fight the problem of the country plus the problem introduced by all the other NGO which work around you and which work there before you. So this gives me a feeling of, okay, if I start working with these people, I can base a long-term relationship and I can have confidence that in 2 years I don't have to look for someone else or to shift the whole program on the other side of the island. The building on aspect is much more important than getting short-term results. And then also the way Sadhana works with volunteers which are living from product of the land in a very, very basic way. I think this inspires respect to the population around. We are not sleeping in a hotel, we are not, all this, we are not moving around in big four-wheelers, and this is making a huge difference. Having white people coming planting trees on foot and carrying everything with their hands, you basically work like the population work around. So it makes a huge difference for me. I think these are keys to a better integration.
Exactement, pied chokogou, c'est un bagay, c'est un pied bois, yo dit exactement l'été en Haïti, passé 100 ans, après on perdu pied bois ça en Haïti, et qu'on y a venu implanter pied bois ça en Haïti, bon, d'après information que moi ouais pied bois ça exactement gagné, tout fruit tout ça qu'elle poté pour population, moi ouais exactement son bon pied bois. Si c'est comme ça parce que moi pas de vivre pied bois ça déjà.
As a foreigner coming in, it's kind of hard to bring them this tree that they don't know anything about. It still kind of has this like mysteriousness for me because I've never really tasted the bread. I've never tasted the drink that you can make from it. But, I've distributed thousands of these trees and told hundreds of people about, how great the tree is, how nutritious it is, how it can just feed their whole family.
In my opinion, that's been one of the problems, I think, with what has happened at Sadhana Forest Haiti so far is that there's no knowledge about the Maya nut tree. Nobody uses it to introduce a new species of tree that produces food is to deal with so many things, like dealing with changing people's diets, like introducing a new food. I mean, people don't even know what this nut is, so if I was to do a reforestation project here, I would probably start with food trees, like mango trees and lime trees and papaya trees, things that people already have in their diet and that they want. And
I think moringa is an easier thing to distribute since the people know it already and they have experience with it. So they've seen it grow, and so when you tell them other things about it, you're sharing knowledge that they can use right away, I guess. And that's the big difference. Because with the Maya nut, you tell them you just have to wait 7 years for the tree to grow up, and their reaction, we had a lady today, she says, I'm not going to live that long. And this is just she's not an old lady, but. Et puis non, aussi. Car les gains fer, les gains en plus vitamine A, vitamine C. Nous gagnons ça et chocobo. Et comme on gagne ça déjà, on va prendre ça.
This morning I visited some chocogo trees and I was so happy to see them. They're exactly in the right place, planted near a small canal of water. They're growing very nicely. They will provide so much food and shade, and generations and generations will live under them and sit and love and argue and play, and this gives me hope.
I don't know, I worry about it. I mean, what I've seen is that when I walk around the town is that a lot of the trees that I saw go into the ground that were healthy are now dead. I don't think that I don't know, I have the feeling that people may not value them and be taking care of them.
It may have been, for me, a misinterpretations when I first got to Haiti. And with the whole Sedana project, I assumed, kind of just from being around a couple of weeks, that, you know, a lot of the Haitians in the community didn't want anything to do with Sedana, or that they, you know, maybe they didn't understand what we were doing, and so that for that reason they didn't want to have anything to be a part of that. And so I thought that their body language was maybe a little bit distant or hesitant towards us, but after these past couple of days of this tree distribution, I probably was completely wrong with that, and you know, they're just as eager to kind of interact with us as we are with them.
Bon, si ta gen yon lot instance qui ta veni pour pas faire rien, c'est ça qui pas bon pour nous. Mais système ça dans la forêt ça li bon parce que li vient aider ou ni dans connaissance et il vient aider ou avec plante yo. Comprendre? Parce que voilà quand nous pas pied bois yo fin de même pied mango que te kon donné yo couper yo. Les moun nan nécessité, li pas gen moyen possibilité, pied mango aller n'importe li couper. Tandis que pied mango li donner, li bay fruit pour moun manger. Pied lam nan yo capable couper le tout. Comprendre? Et ça li pas bon. Et c'est dans le système reboisement nous quoi le plus bon pour nous.
Et lancer avec reboisement parce que reboisement c'est véritable qui ça. Reboisement c'est lui-même son la vie liée. Ouais, si vous déboisez un pied bois nul, et bien c'est pays au crade. Pas qu'on pays au crade. Puis tandis que un grand pied bois, on va qu'on qui va aller danger ou fait. Le réussi coupe un bois dans sa vente. Mais le réussi planter 2-3 ans puis on va qui sont réussi. Ouais.
So yeah, many times I do feel like if we put all the focus of Southern Forest into like hiring a team of like really healthy workers that were like capable of doing a lot of work in a single day and doing like a lot of heavy work on the land, there would be a lot achieved in terms of like physical forest work. But then that's really not what it's about. Like it's much more than reforestation. I guess it's just a conscious way of living, like doing reforestation but doing it more consciously, or like doing anything like cooking a meal or anything. Everything is about like doing whatever you do more consciously.
And so that, for me, is the implication of Sadhana Forest. Sadhana Forest is planting trees, it's reforesting, but it's also planting those seeds in people that will grow. If it's not today, it will grow tomorrow or 10 years from now or whenever it needs to grow. It will grow when it's fertile.
And we say that Sadhana Forest is a reforestation project, and it's true. It is a reforestation project, but it's so many other things. It's a community, it's a place to learn. It's just a place where people are exposed to new ways of being, new ideas. So I just think that it really transcends this sort of like typical project, I guess.
If it was just about hiring workers and just getting like lots of work done, getting like millions of trees planted, like I wouldn't be here and you wouldn't be here, and all these thousands of volunteers that have been here and like somehow been impacted through this, like wouldn't be impacted through this, and it would just be like a piece of land with lots of trees, and yeah, that's great too, but
the work is, for me, makes a lot of sense in terms of reforestation and what we're doing. My belief is that the forest is where we come from and where we should, in very essence, go back to. I don't believe that means to lose everything that we have now, but I think we should now really take steps to regain the forest that we've lost, really, and to regain ourselves.
In today's world, everybody wants instant gratification. You know, everybody wants to do something and to see the result immediately. Indigenous forestry is not instant gratification. It's the opposite of instant gratification. It's a work that you do and you see the results after a very, very long time, and the results are not directly gratifying. It's a very long-term process. It's a very deep process of observing nature, of learning from nature, and of participating with nature in a process that helps it grow again and heal its wounds. And very few people want to do this work. And I feel very lucky to be one of those people that do this work, because for me there's nothing more beautiful than this. There's nothing more beautiful than seeing an empty piece of land that has been degraded, that has been destroyed, and just participating in the process of rebuilding it and making something so beautiful and vibrant and responsive out of it.
Normalement, faut ka wè ke me pepe a la, se li moun yo jwen comme ressource qui pou aider yo nan Haïti en sapit. C'est ça que fait pour ka wè, mais côté yo la gi a terre la, si nous te gen l'autre côté après nous fin prend ça n'a prend pour nous te remettre yo, là yo ta pral produire l'autre bagay avec yo. Côté m'a dit ça même communauté al te ka utile. Mais problème qui passe en Haïti, là un projet vini, le cadre Pierre paraît, monsieur Jacques paraît, yo prend ça après fouer dans poche et puis mal yo rete bouche bée. Comprendre?
One of our biggest resources here are second-hand or aid clothes, which are sent here to this particular region in Ansapit and in Pedernales to be sorted and resent back around the world to other markets where they can sell vintage or second-hand clothes for more than what people will hear them pay for them. There's then another market here which then will sell more clothes to local people from this selection of clothes. The rest of those clothes that aren't used here, particularly winter clothing, socks, hats and scarves, things that they certainly won't ever use in a tropical climate such as Haiti, are then thrown away into kind of landfill or burning scenarios. There's an estimate I heard that 80% of the clothes that are sent here are burnt, which is kind of a sad thing, that we want to give this aid and we want to help and give out, our old clothes that we don't need. But then there's this whole business around it, and then as soon as there's no real money involved, actually people don't need it and it's discarded, and it's then turned into a pollution here where they either leave it as trash or they burn it as trash, and certainly the people aren't benefiting from that. The Haitian people aren't benefiting from that, and even the world is not benefiting from that process. And so this is why we're increasingly trying to use it in our work here, because it is an abundant resource that's not used, and also to show that you can use this in a very beneficial way, such as to stop water and soil from eroding. Also use it as mulch to stop the evaporation, and eventually it will break down actually into the very soils that we will require in the future for reforestation or for food production. I think the importance of soil cannot be underestimated. We need soil. If we don't have soil, this world will be lifeless. So here we are constructing contour gabions. Really, this is just a technique to slow water down. Every water conservation technique is just slowing the water down, slowing it thousands and thousands of times slower than it would normally run on this piece of land, because usually it would just be washed off into the valleys and then out to sea. The problem with that is that the water is not used, and also you lose your most valuable resource, which is your soil and all your organic matter, which will eventually make that soil. So water conservation is the key to bringing fertility back to the land. If you stop the water, things will grow, even if you don't plant. And so the first thing we do is we mark the contour of the land, and then we start to put rocks on this contour lacing them with clothing to stop the water even more, but also stopping any soil or organic matter which would fall above the gabion. When the water rushes down the hill, it will fall and be stopped by the rocks and the cloves, and then start to build the soil in that edge effect. And really what this is doing is replicating nature. It's replicating the fact that nature will absorb and slow water down as much as it can, so then it can use it. When we start to disturb nature, actually what you're doing is you're disturbing the whole water cycle, and then suddenly you get a huge amount of erosion, you lose more fertility, more soil, and then you then have this uphill climb. So this is just putting one step up that hill, which then allows us to reforest and produce more fertility. I think if you can show, this rock here, complete bedrock here, and then produce a forest in 10 years, I think that's a very inspiring thing that we can show the world and show our children and onwards to the future, that no matter how bad it gets, we can actually, if we make the right steps instead of the kind of backward or wrong steps, we can have a really positive effect on everything. So this is really, for us, the first step and the key to reforestation.
Comme on connaît en Haïti déjà, c'est un pays moyen économique li faible en pile, côté que pour un moun voyer ti moun li l'école, faut qu'il capable travailler en pile et pas un travail, c'est si 50% moun dans communauté a c'est charbon fait exactement pour vivre avec ti moun yo, pour voyer ti moun yo l'école tout ça. On parler de faire charbon, nous parler de couper pied bois pour faire charbon. Si gen charbon, gen pied bois à couper.
Et pour nous dire tout, bois coupé en sapit. C'est pas mon en sapit qui coupe. Mon en saute bien loin. On est affaire pas bon, y a marché. Là vini là, on est rentré dans Boucara, couper bois. Les responsables, notables font relais derrière pour suspendre couper bois, ils demandent quel travail yo ba yo fait. Comprendre?
Qui ça n'a créé, qui ça nous capable créer, qui ça nous capable faire pour moun ça yo même exactement capable vivre, yon l'autre privilège pour pas couper pied bois. Et ça c'est une question. Question qui n'a débattre sur lui, c'est ça dans la forêt vient en technique côté yo les ça stove. OK? Ça li très économique les moun a fait manger sous affaire bois. Ça exactement si nous sommes capables de travailler sur ça, nous fait chaque famille bénéficier d'un stove. Là, de moyen économiquement, il est plus bon dans le monde qui a coupé bois pour faire charbon. Ça, charbon est capable nettement diminuer, à moins que nous fassions faire comparaison de charbon avec bois, qui est plus économique pour eux. Et là, ça, même spécialement, moi utiliser charbon qui bois.
The advantage to using the rocket stove is to save on the amount of wood that you use to make the fire. It saves on wood because the clay bricks are able to trap the heat inside the oven and very little heat is lost through the top. Another nice advantage to the rocket stove is once the fire has been built, you only need to keep adding very small amounts of wood. Currently, we're still kind of in a design phase for the rocket stoves. We're experiencing a little bit of cracking on the outside of the stove itself, which is, I think, leading to these stoves particularly needing more maintenance than is ideal. Maybe I should lighten up about it, but I don't want to put this in the community if it's going to be cracking in 2 weeks, 3 weeks. That's the one hand, right? But even if you can't get it perfect, maybe building a stove like this and having a better option than something that's out like they use normally, this is still going to be a huge improvement. So what I would like to do today or tomorrow is build a fire, like a typical Haitian fire, and kind of record how much wood that uses, how long it takes to boil the water, and then compare it to how much wood this uses and how long it takes, and really be able to tell people how much money that can save them, basically. I think when you speak in dollar and cents terms, that's going to be the deciding factor if they want you to build a stove or if they'll continue to invest in it with their time. It's not going to take much money, but just with their time, commit to it. And then, of course, what we're probably more concerned about is the environmental impact that it'll have, saving the trees. So it's a great project like that in my eyes because it kind of serves both purposes. Helps the Haitians keep more money in their pocket and also helps with the reforestation indirectly.
Here's a time when I was traveling in the Midwest and I was in Milwaukee visiting a friend. So I go to the park and I'm reading a book. And I fell asleep while reading a book and woke up to someone offering me a sandwich on a park bench. And she just had a really warm smile, but she was standing so far back and, handing the sandwich out, like she's trying to pass it to like a lion in a cage without getting, mauled. And it kind of dawned on me like this is what help looks like. Where it's like, I want your free sandwich, but I don't like the way that you're giving it to me. This experience happened in between my 2 times in Haiti, and I just started thinking about when I've been giving gifts. It feels really good to give gifts, but it sucks to receive help. The judgment that comes into deciding that someone needs help is where help goes wrong. That odds are you've never taken another person on a level and never asked for what they need, and that it's only a one-way exchange that emotionally ends up benefiting the giver more than the receiver. I keep going in to help people and I walk away with a lot more. And so I think I'm trying to own that it is an experience for me.
If you are looking at the big picture and you're looking at like trying to change Haiti and trying to change it as soon as possible, I think you'll have a quick prescription to frustration.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why some people say Haiti's a cemetery of good projects and good intentions. When you come in and you're like, I've gotta do this project. I have this intention of changing this in that community. But instead, if you come in with this expectation to learn, I think that might actually open up more realistic solutions. It's very difficult, eh?
Yeah, it is.
Like, especially when you have this impending sense of dooms that has come upon this country, and you must solve this now, otherwise this will be horrible. That it's like the state of anxiety, I think, that
the pressure that you put on yourself.
Right, and I feel like January 12th, was all about that. It was like, and of course it was a crisis, but I think for the experience that a lot of people had, and later on the frustrations that they felt was because of this, short-lived, fight or flight reaction to Haiti, as opposed to maybe a long-term commitment and where they're not just trying to save Haiti, but they're trying to experience Haiti and learn from the internal processes of Haiti. And
it's been pretty clear that throwing money at things won't make problems go away. You can't just throw money at hunger and wait for it to go away. You can't throw money at inadequate shelter and want it to go away.
Like there's a lot of good ideas that shouldn't happen. And they shouldn't happen, even though they're good ideas, they shouldn't happen because in the short term, they might, maybe let's say in the short term, they might equip someone with some more tools, some more things. In the long run, they create a spirit of dependence.
For me, it's about planting trees wherever I can and not just serving the Haitian people or making Haiti a better country, but trying to make the whole world a better place and trying to make more trees and more food for the whole world. I don't like this sort of like nationalistic view of let's help Haiti because Haiti's got it bad. For me, like, people are people and people got it bad everywhere for the most part. I mean, there's some places where it's pretty nice. But in a lot of places it's pretty rough, you know, and I think Sadhana Forest could pretty much go anywhere and give hope, you know, even to the people who really have it good, which are a lot of the people who come through Sadhana Forest. We give them hope, and sometimes I feel like in the short term, for sure, we give more hope to foreigners sometimes than we do to the local population, because the local population doesn't see the good we're doing. They just see these Westerners, these Blancs, these white people planting trees, these people from all over the world, like planting these trees, and they just see this tree in the ground and it's not doing anything for them right now, but it will. But I don't know how much hope I mean, I'm sure some people grasp the sort of long-term thing, but it's interesting, in Haiti, people are really looking for a handout because that's been the way that it's been here.
I keep finding myself in pause because I keep thinking, what is it that I don't know that I should know, that they know, and what is it that we could be learning from them that we're in ignorance of ish, you know?
Ok? Là, moi, tende projet de permaculture. L'homme t'est parlé la première fois, moi, de ça, le permaculture. Mais avant ça.
So when I came here, I heard permaculture and I said to myself, what is permaculture?
Moi, je viens entrer en sapit, et puis là, nous venons paraître là, et puis nous venons technicien, il prend moi-même avec frère qui vient, et puis la promener avec nous.
And he walked with us. He being myself, we walked around and we walked through.
Ouais. Il dit mes travail à faire, Il sorti là, il montre nous. Le premier travail, c'est dans Afrique de.
And he showed us the different work that was happening around.
I was shocked.
I walk up front. Lui. Wale toi vite.
Ouais.
Calme.
Ouais.
C'est comme ça me parle. So I walked to the first station and he showed me something. I was shocked. I walked to the second station. He showed me. I was shocked again. I walked to the third one. I was still shocked and surprised. I walked over there and I saw what they did and I was again shocked. So I kept asking myself, what is this permaculture? What is this thing? Was it until Saturday?
Technicien prend nous, la chita avec nous.
And he sat with us, all of us.
Posé nous des questions.
And he guided us to.
Quelques bagailles, nous n'a posé des questions,
and we had a discussion, and he guided us through some questions.
Okay. L'on l'a cherché pour nous-mêmes, n'a cherché, n'a demandé des questions.
We basically kept going at it, questions and answers and questions and answers, questions and answers.
C'est là dans entreprend à chaque salade dit nous.
Some it's in this give and take.
Et puis n'a vivre là-dedans.
And it's as we were starting to see it and live it.
C'est là, 2-3 jours, prends le lundi, c'est là, la demandé, c'est là, moi-même, essayé de comprendre ça, le permaculture.
And given still 2 or 3 days later, that's when I started to understand what it means permaculture.
C'est là, l'homme garde, moi, ouais, tout travail, ça, tout salle, promène, moi, ouais, tout bagaille, moi, ouais, qui rentre permaculture à entrer.
So it's as I kept walking through and I kept living it, and I started to seeing how everything was connected to permaculture.
C'est ça que fait demander nous qui ça n'a fait, qui ça n'a dit, comment nous comprenons permaculture, nous dit rien pas perdu.
So that's why when he asked me, how do you understand permaculture? What is it to you? I told him, basically I summarize it as rien pas perdu, which means nothing is lost.
Moi ouais premièrement.
First of all,
l'homme garde moi ouais m'vinn là m'te soit petit goût d'eau. M'arrête là mal boire petit goût d'eau.
Let's do machine no machine. First of all, let me show you.
This is what I believe our ancestors had, was this true knowledge of living, of just being and understanding how they can observe and interact in this world. Permaculture can definitely help us in this way, and I believe Sadhana Forest can help us in this way, and I believe how they come together is very helpful. We're doing very similar things, Sadhana Forest and permaculture.
And I look over here. This is where the shower. This is where the shower.
Et puis même de l'eau encore.
And the same water.
Yo vinn compiler l'ensemble.
Gets piled up here.
Parce que l'homme garde travail de l'eau à faire, travail et on pas perdu.
When I see the work, the productivity that comes out of this, nothing is lost. These weren't here before.
Okay. Ça yo pas là parce que qu'il après tout de l'eau yo mettez fumée là-dedans, yo mettez garder tomate nous abdonner, nous pas de gain dans terre.
I mean, look at this. You got tomato coming out here. We didn't have this before.
Gardez belle bagaille, gardez belle bagaille.
Look at this beautiful thing.
On pas perdu. Pas de ananas. Pas de ananas.
There was no ananas.
Gardez citronnelle, ça belle bagaille.
Look at that. We have citronella.
Ouais. Ouais ça.
You see that?
Gardez avancez.
Keep walking.
Ouais.
Permaculture is relevant to the newborn, to the 95-year-old man who lives down the street. It's relative to any culture, any society, any climate zone. It's relative to everyone. It's relative to all of us. And to ignore it, I think, is a huge failure upon all of us. I think we should grasp it. We should embrace it, and we should also recognize it's not something new. It's something that's been practiced for eons.
So you see this water? This is where they wash.
You lave tout bagaille.
This is where they wash everything.
You pas prendre l'eau à jouer dans bois non?
You don't take the water and throw it away.
Une position, you mettez de l'eau pour servir.
They basically put the water in a space where it can be used.
Laisse manger des choses.
The buckets that collect the
l'autre pour ta prendre rien pas perdu. Yo prend yo compiler ensemble, elle mettez dans le compost.
They basically compile it and put it in compost.
Il y a le beauté paille, mettez fait compost. Mais tout travail ça, c'est travail à faire.
All this work is work that is being done to rebuild the space.
Rien pas perdu.
Rien pas perdu.
N'a pas perdu.
This is
Vous
where you
lavez
wash your
main.
hands.
Ça c'est ça, vous mettez dans main. Vous prenez l'eau de ça. Vous prenez l'eau, vous videz là-dedans, nous savons les mains là.
Water falls and basically the system, you collect the water, you capture the water and the water goes inside of this little space here, and this is the soil.
Voilà.
So all this,
il rafraîchit qu'on a racine à joindre de l'eau.
The roots are being fed.
Racine à joindre de l'eau et puis il était vivant.
And so it stays alive.
Rien pas perdu.
Nothing is lost.
Rien pas perdu.
Today, right now, as permaculture is this commodity that you can sell for thousands of dollars, essentially. And we really don't want to do that. We don't want to say you can only learn permaculture if you have $1,000. We want everyone to be able to do this. We want everyone to be able to use permaculture, understand it, and make an impact in their own lives and hopefully in the world today. We believe all the knowledge that we've gained from our work and what we're doing in this life should be freely available to everyone. We don't want to stop someone from reforesting. We want there to be more forests. We want people to learn this. We want people to get more involved. And so putting this dollar sign, this idea that this is a knowledge that's worth so much money that, you know, only certain people can do it because they have a certain amount of money, and we didn't want to restrict to that crowd of people, essentially.
We want to live in a world where there is an option just to give without receiving from the same person. Commerce is discrimination. When you sell something, you sell it only to the person that has the price that you demand, right? So you discriminate against anyone else who doesn't have that amount. And just eliminating this discrimination and saying, if you need it, you got it. This feeling of abundance, of being able to give everything that people need while receiving at the same time, but maybe from others, maybe not from the same people, is very enriching. It makes you rich in the true sense.
The foundation of a free economy is trust, that you know that your needs will be met, whether it's through some sort of seemingly magical event or just through the kindness of people, and sometimes those things really coincide. So that's one aspect of it, being supported and trusting that you will be supported. But then there's the other side, which is the giving. And in order to continue receiving, you have to give, and to give freely so that you receive freely. So it's really evident to me that we give and we give freely. We don't charge for rooms. We never charge for workshops. We don't charge for anything. We just ask that people pay for their food. And a lot of people don't even do that, you know? Not able to do that, but Sadhana Forest trusts that its needs will be met.
And sometimes we might not have anything to continue giving, but the faith comes when you really don't have anything and you stick by that idea that I don't need to sell what I'm doing. I can just believe that, you know, something will come. And it does so far. For 8-9 years it has.
What gift economy requires is that you will have faith that, you know, what you need in order to give will come.
There are a lot of things that are lost in translation. I think there's a lot of things that aren't translated. Mainly that sadhana won't give jobs. The lost in translation, you know, is the quick answer is that there is no money. But the deeper answer is, I still don't have the vocabulary for it. I'm trying to understand myself of the gift economy and living in a world without money. So it's some bigger stuff. It's interesting to think about. That I think harder to share at a community where pretty much majority of the people who've come to sadhana have been able to partake in that lifestyle as a choice, living without money or little to no money, and that it's kind of a novelty for a lot of people there. But it's a reality for surrounding Ansapit.
Là, nous parlons d'économie gratis. Moi, je pense qu'en Haïti, les minimes en pile, économie gratis, minime en pile, l'on va regarder, l'on va passer jour par ouais, comme si ça qui est l'économie gratis. De même pour tout le monde à l'école, c'est pas 1 million, c'est pas un corps, pour obliger de camper la caille, il va pas à l'école. Et c'est si tout pour ti moun al nan université tout. Si parent pa yon kob, li nou a fini l'école lan et puis parle dans l'université, c'est la moi expliquer que économie gratis en Haïti ça li zéro barré.
Moi-même, en tant que yon haïtien, yon imaginaire, bon, pas justement rete quoi que normalement yon moun capable et vin dans une organisation internationale ou payer l'argent, on l'arrive ou vin payer pour manger, c'est que pour payer pour travail. Bon, ça pour moi-même, je pense que c'est une question membre volontaire étranger Sadana Forest capable répondre ni plus bien passé.
I don't need anything. Like, I have really good meals here, I have entertainment here, I have education here, I have friends, I have family, I have a home. And really, all your basic needs are taken care of, or like even more than your basic needs are taken care of. There's not really much else you need apart from like these things.
For many years, I used to, to go to work, like everybody, and I increasingly thought about what's my motivation to do it. Like, why am I going there? Why am I spending so many hours, so much of my creativity and energy on this? Is it really what I want to do? Is it really meaningful for me? And slowly I understood that it's not. I'm doing it because I'm getting paid for it, and that sustains my life physically. But I'm not actually finding a deeper expression of myself in this work. And that's where the concept of service came, where I can work and my work has an effect beyond me.
And I guess that's really why I'm here, is because of this emphasis on service and not living for myself. I could live in the States and work a job and be comfortable, and it wouldn't be fulfilling.
I'm happy that, thousands of people share this experience with me, and they can see that they can devote weeks or months or sometimes years of their life to something that doesn't benefit them directly, but still they feel so fulfilled and so happy, as though they, even if they would earn so much money, they would never feel like this, and they can realize it, they can experience it, and then they can make their own choice. We can't make choices for others, but we can enable others to experience things that can, give them a larger selection in their life, a larger array of possibilities. And that's what Sadhana Forest tries to do. You experience service. Maybe you don't like it. You go back to having a 9-to-5 job and making a lot of money and running just for yourself. And that's great. But you know that something else is possible. And maybe one day you would want to change, or maybe not.
I think that there's this misconception that people can go somewhere to a community. I've been to quite a few, and oftentimes people go to these communities trying to escape their old life, but the problems just follow, or the problems turn into a different kind of problem, and I find that there's still a lot of work to be done, and it can be really stressful at times. But in a way, it's kind of what I want. I want to really feel like I'm really putting a lot of energy into this because I really believe in it. I wouldn't say the model, but as a model for the world that I would like to see.
Only thing I would like to know, what working for free mean for you in United States? So I would like you to explain me something about working for free. What working for free mean for you in United States?
You mean if you were to have this project in the United States and be volunteering? in that context?
Pour moi-même, en Haïti, nous sommes capables de dire dans l'ancien temps, nous sommes qu'on a travail, laisse nous pas utiliser monnaie, mais Indien yo te qu'on fait un bagay, yo te relé troc. Troc là c'est qui ça lié? C'est justement un échange qui vient arriver un certain de temps dans le moment esclavage. Là yo dit que ou travail ou pas touché, ça veut dire que ou typiquement un esclave. C'est que c'est ça normalement qui manifeste dans l'idée tout haïtien que yo connaît histoire ça très bien. Là où fait au travail ou pas bailler l'argent qui veut dire que yo en esclavage. Sadana Forest, l'arrivant Sadana, les ou travail comme volontaire, mais volontaire pour citoyens haïtiens qui travaillent dans Sadana Forest, ça typiquement fait rappeler avec même temps ancien esclavagiste.
In the beginning, we called the first session in the forest first work, and the second session after breakfast, the second work, and then we switched to calling it first seva and second seva. So the volunteers realized, I'm going to serve, I'm not going to work. And I think that made a huge change, because what was very clear to us was not at all clear to them. And by changing the name, I think we made it much more clear. So, yeah, that's how it is now in Sadhana Forest, India. It's first seva and second seva, and people ask us many times again and again what it means seva, because they forget, because the concept of service is so alien to them, you know, that they forget, and you have to remind them. But it's a beautiful process.
Dans loi pays d'Haïti, yo fait nous connaître si que une organisation internationale li rentre dans pays pour le venir travail, ça le doit pour le faire normalement, faut encadrer une série de organisations nationales pour travailler ensemble avec elle. Qui donc Sadana Forest lui-même li pas essayer faire un genre de activité comme ça. Et journée jodi nous capable même propre moun qui en dans Sadana yo vle virer do bay Sadana, qui veut dire que bagay yo pas marché bien. Justement, on pense que Sadana t'es capable justement créer emploi, OK? Employer plus moun normalement qui pour gérer, qui pour superviser pied bois ça yo, pour être capable prendre soin pied bois ça yo plus bien.
One of the expectations that many people express here is, why don't you employ dozens of people? You know, it's very difficult for us to explain to them that we can't do it. We don't have the money to employ dozens of people or hundreds of people like they want to solve the problem of Ansapit by just giving employment to everybody. So simple. We don't have the resources, and we also don't feel that this is the solution. Because what if we were able to provide employment for Ansapit? For how long are we able to do this? We know what happens when those, big employing NGOs leave. Everybody is unemployed, and doesn't have other solutions. So we're trying to create something much more sustainable, but maybe a little bit less tangible than a job. What we see is people, their needs, and how they can, together with the environment, live in harmony and in abundance. It doesn't matter where it is. It doesn't matter, which nationality they are. It's totally irrelevant to our project. Totally irrelevant. Actually, when I look at this area here, this area for me is the Pedernales River basin, and it's actually shared by two countries, by the Dominican Republic and by Haiti. But as I see it from the land point of view, it is one bioregion. Some politicians decided one day that the Pedernales River would be the border between the two countries, but on the land that has no relevance.
I'm not in disagreement with Sadana Forest. I just think if you're not in your country, or if you look at it from that standpoint, you're bringing your values, whether you realize it or not, at whatever level. So try to reach out a little bit and understand the culture to the extent that you might not otherwise know.
I always kind of meet a lot of Western people, especially now after like many years that I've lived in Sadhana, and people kind of see me more as a member of Sadhana than as an Indian or as a local when I'm in India. But yes, and when they share with me about like how, okay, so there's these group of white people living an easy life here, but what about the Indians? And I say like, what about the locals? Like, what about the Indians? Like, this place is just as open to an Indian as it is to anyone else. Like, that must be pretty obvious for everyone, because we do have like open gates, and there's like right now there's a sort of decent enough Indian population in Sadhana. And to me, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't even matter to me that if there is a population of Indians in Southern Forest, India or not, because to me it's just about people that want to live in Sadhana living together, or like people that want to live this certain kind of life living together and doing things that they want to do together.
Yeah, I came out here, walked in Asa Pete, but I was in Savannah. And it not exactly, it's in Haiti, but it's not a really Haitian community.
Sometimes I see the difference. I'm aware of it. And I think maybe part of me, in choosing to come out here, wanted that. I think part of me wasn't quite ready to sort of let go of the English-speaking states, being surrounded by, I guess, internationals. Part of me wanted that.
Yeah.
And part of me wanted to be in Haiti. So it only made sense that you find yourself in an organization that could give, in my case, both aspects, both worlds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah. The challenge, though, sometimes is that sometimes those two worlds don't always dance well together.
Mm-hmm.
And what's really hard is that oftentimes you wind up being in the middle as a mediator.
Yeah.
So you carry that, like, the emotional weight of two worlds, I feel.
C'est que ça que nous t'a souhaité, c'est organisation internationale là, normalement rentrer dans le pays, encadrer tout le jeune, justement créer un certain des activités pour aider jeunesse là, OK? Aider tout le monde, OK? Justement, je pense que tout ça c'est un certain des activités, ça donne la force est capable de faire.
For me, this whole thing of like, oh, but what about making the locals' lives better? What about like reaching out to the locals and like involving them more? That's just another form of like being missionaries. Like, oh, we'd just be like Southern Forest missionaries. Let's just go and like spread the good word of sadhana and like try to involve more and more people. And I don't know that that's what Southern Forest is about, or that's what we should be about. I don't think that's what we should be about. For anyone, I think in general, it's much more inspiring to like watch someone live a certain thing, and then you're like much more attracted to it than like to hear someone tell you like, this is good, look at me, I'm living this amazing life, you know what, you should come live this too. Like, personally for me, that's not so attractive. Like, I really like the passive approach, and I think that's what Southern Forest takes many times.
Here again lies another problem, because you have a number of people here that are on with the mindset of permaculture, and part of a big facet of permaculture again is community. So to come here and be involved aggressively with permaculture and not to engage the community to an extent, there's a contradiction. Whether you agree with it or not, there is a contradiction, and I think that can cause some conflict with people.
Projet Sadana Forest normalement li te vle ekzekite a, pou mwen men, mwen wè ke li semble tombe a l'eau. Sa ki kapap fèm kompren tout bagay sa yo rive, se enkadreman kominote a ke yo manke.
You know, Haiti has had a lot of foreign aid over the years. And we're not coming into a new scene here. We're coming into a scene that was already visited by many, many NGOs, many organizations, many hopes, many promises, a large history. And it's complicated because we come with a very different attitude, and sometimes the expectations that people have that are based on their past experiences cannot be fulfilled, and it's frustrating for them and frustrating for us. But we have to, in order to become one community, which we are becoming one community, we have to learn each other's, attitudes, each other's expectations, and to adapt and to be flexible. And I think that we are in that process. And that process is a very deep dialogue between us and the local people that is happening.
In time, we will get to a place where there's more facilitators in the community, like myself, like yourself, who speak both languages and who can assist others in connecting and facilitate that connection. So I guess probably. So on one level, maybe that means more expatriates coming home and in their presence and the things they get involved with, they become connected. I mean, that could be one way for it to work, but maybe that means that the people that are, maybe that means that we'll find.
You know, Yuri told me that in the beginning she really thought nothing would grow, and this is really interesting to me to think that the founder of Sadana Forest, one of the founders, had these moments of doubt. Nothing will grow, but it will grow. The trees will grow. The trees will come. The shade will come. The food will come. The rain will come. When? I don't know, but I know it will.
For me, reforestation in barren landscapes is a very long time scale, probably beyond mine or your lifetime. And it often feels like not much is happening, but actually if you observe in the long term, this will create a more fertile scenario. And really, I think we need to look at those timescales. I think we need to look beyond ourselves and look, not just for me, but for my children or for your children, and continue to take steps now which will benefit our future.
Nous venons là, c'est pas pour jouer, c'est pour bien. Nous pas venir là pour jouer, ni rien. Mais nous venons là pour nous aider pour nous travailler ici. Pour nous aider à planter choukoukou. Sadana, il remet moun en pile. Remet moun en pile, ni nous même tout nous remet tout. Nous pas vouloir le craser. On nous mettre tête ensemble pour nous arriver. Oh yeah.
I think the end of the story is this group of people holding hands, being together and making a forest grow. And we're doing it here, and we're doing it in India, And I think we're gonna keep growing and hopefully visit a lot of places in the world and touch a lot of lives and grow a lot of trees. For me, that's the end. Years down the road, when we look and we see all the trees that we've grown and we see how much we've grown out of it.
Where people can come from. Like, do they have to come from complete urban living and complete Western developed life to acting like so many of the innovations in the last 100 years never happened? I don't think that's real. I don't think that's real. It will be for many people, but there's got to be a way to marry those. I want to help do that. Because I don't want to come live in Haiti and stay in a tent forever.
Tamil people from our local area come to Sadhana Forest and they say, wow, you live exactly like my grandfather. You know, they don't want to live like this. They want to live like they see on TV in a cement house. But they appreciate the fact that we want to live like this because they know that this will not exist. If nobody supports it, if nobody supports these people that do these works, that make these roofs, all this knowledge will be lost. So by our choices, we're preserving a lot of local knowledge.
Pour moi-même, je pense que Sadhana Forest, c'est justement un Sadhana international qui est rentré dans le pays normalement, qui a une si bonne initiative, une si bonne philosophie, justement, il a pour venir dégager. Mais d'après toute étude que nous faisons, donc justement, nous voyons que Sadhana lui pas réalisé normalement et philosophie qu'elle a gagné.
Moi, par contre, qui ça Sadhana Forest signifie exactement. Et je n'ai pas une signification fixe de Sadhana Forest.
The thing is, I've spent 8 months in sadhana and I still don't really understand what it is that they do. Really. I've had some seasons where I think I get it. I think I'm really into it. And then something else happens where I'm like, wait, what's going on? What is this place? What's it all about?
So the Shokogu program started for Biomimicry Europa by looking at oxalogenous trees which are producing a byproduct of their metabolic pathways, which is carbonates. They put carbonates in the ground as they grow. And these carbonates can come from atmospheric CO2. This was interesting because CO2 in the atmosphere is a problem for global change, of course. It was also interesting because by doing this, they potentially act as fertilizers of the ground. So we thought it's interesting to test the model with farmers, actually in places where it could be promoting food security, to test the model of planting oxalogenous tree and trying to plant food around it. We start. Do you ask question or I just talk?
No, I think you probably already know what you need to say.
Yes, more or less.
Oh, this is difficult. How does it even work?
Maybe we can start by pretending you're not there.
Okay. Wow, yeah. What you say? Okay, go get food. Go eat food, okay? Dinner time. Save food for me, okay? Yeah, I'll show you later, okay? Yeah. Hmm? Okay. Yeah, I took a photo. We should go.
Pou bien di ou, nou kapab di ou, terrain sapit la li longtemps c'est pas de consalte. Il était plus boisé. La pluie était kon tomber facile parce que te gen bois. On est côté gen bois, la pluie toujours aller fraîcheur. Ça rend la pluie tomber facile. Mais quand il y a la pluie pas tomber. Pour quelle raison? Parce que pas gen bois, pas gen pied bois. Yo coupé tout pied bois. Il y a pas quand il y a même bête et par un côté pour parer soleil, pas même d'eau. Et Bukara ça a été chargé bois. Mais coupé au fait charbon.
Nous venons là, c'est pas pour jouer, c'est pour bien. Nous pas venir là pour jouer, ni rien. Mais nous venons là pour nous aider moun yo pour nous travailler ici. Pour nous aider à planter choukoukou. Nous pas venir là pour jouer. Papi tout gen l'été voulait parler, c'est moi Hamilton. Oui, yeah.
Bon, à ça, Hamilton dit à m'accepter ensemble avec tout. Il y a des gens qui, tant que junior, next time, manger, vin plein falio chaque matin après-midi. Tant que moi-même, Hamilton, Michelet, travail nous-mêmes. Nous va venir pour jouer, non?
Aider à planter chocogo, monsieur.
Tant qu'on est quitté du chococo.
Sadana, il remet moun en pile. Remet moun en pile. Ni nous-mêmes tout, nous remet tout. Nous pas vouloir le craser. On nous mettre tête ensemble pour nous arriver. Oh yeah.
Sadhana Forest started in 2003 in India, in Orville, and at that time it was just Yorit, my wife and I. It was meant to be a small community of families that would live together and reforest the 70 acres that were allotted by Orville and make a tropical dry evergreen forest and indigenous forest out of it. But life took us to another direction, totally. And volunteers started coming after 5-6 days that we started the project. The first volunteer came, and from then on more and more volunteers came, to the extent that now we have about 1,000 volunteers a year in Sadhana Forest, India alone. And that's a massive number that is enabling to do great work on the land, but also posing a lot of challenges. So it became much more powerful, but much more complicated than it was supposed to be.
We're here because of this desire to live differently and to live in a community. And it's interesting, I think the image that a lot of people have of a community is this sort of commune lifestyle where there's people playing guitars and you're just kind of hanging out, like eating organic vegetables and stuff. And when I talk to my dad about it, he imagines me just hanging out in this hammock eating papayas all day. I wish that that's what it was. I mean, I don't wish that that's what it was, and that's not what it is. It's giving, you know, and sometimes that giving means giving up your comforts, sort of giving up your convenience in order to to sort of put your energy into something more positive.
The intention was to enable us to express our goal in life, the meaning of our lives. And that's why we call the project Sadhana Forest. Sadhana is the focus on the truth, the spiritual path. And it was not meant, and it is still not, after 8 years, it is not a career. It is not an ego trip. It is a way to express our deeper yearns, our deeper meaning. And hopefully others can do the same, and we can all, grow as people while growing the forest. And
Haiti Sherry says Haiti is my beloved land. Oh, I never knew that I'd have to leave you to understand just how much I miss the gallant citadel, where days long ago brave men served this country well.
everything around us, and maybe helping some people too on the way.
In some ways, Haiti was the place that gave me my umbilical cord, and as I reach out and I start walking the world, I start connecting to a lot of different people. And in coming here to Sadhana is like the ultimate expression of that, where I find myself connected to people from Australia, connected to people from the US, from Canada, and at the same time having my roots, and recognizing my roots being Haiti. It calls upon you to be more human.
Yeah.
The experience living here, I think.
We have the most diverse crowd that you can imagine coming to Sadhana Forest. this ability to support everybody is very empowering for us. We believe in an integrated society. We believe in a society that people can, through diversity, create something very, very strong. Whenever you have a monoculture in nature, it's very weak. Whenever you have high biodiversity, it's very strong. And the same thing with human societies. They should be very diverse. If you look at a town or a village at the midday, anywhere in the world, nobody is at home. Everybody is institutionalized. They may be in a school or a company or a prison or an old people's home or a mental hospital, or they are institutionalized somewhere. And in Sadhana Forest, there are no institutions. Everybody is part of the community. Those that should be in a mental hospital and those that should be maybe in old people's home, like me soon. And you know, everybody is integrated, and this integration creates the force of the society, the force of the project, force of the community.
What is the point? What is the point? This was my first question. Like for 2 days, like I was like, okay, reforestation, I get it, but what is the point? And yeah, I was really attracted to this whole thing, but it was still really interesting that it was just a group of people that want to live together and plant trees.
And I think that if more and more people came together in communities, not just to live sustainably, but to make life better for others through healing the earth and regenerating the earth and not just carelessly taking from the earth, that we can really create a new society. And I think Sadhana Forest is part of that new society that a lot of people want to create. I don't think that it's utopian by any means. It's just, it will just be reality soon.
I think that this movement can be successful, but it won't be if it is completely radical as it is, if there's no transition, if there's no middle ground.